Welcome to A Subject in Subject, where we talk about a subject from both elementary and high school. Today we will be looking at English, the language we brought over from the British Isles that have changed throughout the centuries. We will first talk to Mrs. Tui from first
In lower
grade.
elementary, what in English do you teach?
In first grade, we're working on capital letters, punctuation. We're talking about parts of speech, the nouns, the verbs. We reinforce the subject and predicate as well.
Okay. What would you say is the most challenging and least challenging thing in English that you have to teach?
The most challenging would be for the students to remember to add their punctuation at the end of the sentence, making sure that they have the complete part of a sentence. The least challenging would probably be the nouns. I think kids pick up nouns very easily, understanding that part of speech.
All right. What do your students think of English?
A lot of them don't mind it. They don't understand that we're doing it at certain times because we slide it into other areas, such as our reading and writing. So most of the kids don't understand that we're doing it, so they enjoy it.
All right. And what are your thoughts on English?
I think English is very important in our language, that we need to start instilling it to these kids at a young age, such as first grade, kindergarten. They need to understand the parts of speech so that when they get to high school and have to write research papers and understand the language a little bit more in depth, they have that foundation built at a young age.
Now we will talk to the high school English teacher, Mrs. Jones.
So, in high school, what in English do you teach?
So English consists of a lot of different parts of communication. We cover grammar, we cover literature, and we cover writing. Those are the three main components of high school English. Of course, we have to follow state standards, so I have to follow those. But those are the three main components that you'll see in any high school English class.
All right. What would you say is the most challenging and least challenging thing in English that you have to teach?
I think the most challenging for me to teach is grammar, and I think that's because I might understand grammar rules myself, but understanding them and then finding a way to teach it to students so they understand how they work, that's a bit challenging. And the least challenging, I would have to say, is probably literature, because in a lot of ways literature is all about interpretation. So it's how somebody can connect to the stories.
All right. What do your students think of English?
I don't know. I'd have to ask more of my students what they think. I would assume they enjoy my class. I haven't had too many people tell me they don't enjoy it, but it's one of those that some people like doing it and some people don't.
All right. And what are your thoughts on English?
I love English. I wouldn't be teaching it if I didn't, although for me it's more about the communication of it and the connection.
We will now listen to Cade Warbus, a senior taking high school English.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on English in general?
Actually, it's probably one of my favorite classes. I enjoy the grammar part of it for some reason. I've always had a natural feel for it. Literature is not my thing though. I'm not a big reader, so I don't like that part of it, but English is great.
All right, and what do you think of the importance of English?
When it comes to emails, interviews, anything with a job, you kind of want to be able to speak right, so you don't, sound dumb, I guess.
All right.
Yeah, if I'm going to get a job, I got to have good English.
Thank you for watching our first episode of A Subject in Subject, and a special thank you for those who I interviewed. I hope you now have a larger understanding of how English is taught, and once again, thank you for watching.